Terran stood at the edge of his ship's ramp, staring at the world below. The planet Veyron stretched wide before him, a swirl of green forests, glowing rivers and mountains that seemed to touch the sky. He had never seen a planet so alive, so full of energy. His crew whispered among themselves, excited and nervous. "This is going to be something," Terran said, turning to them. "Remember, we are explorers first. Be careful, but stay curious." The crew nodded. Among them were Nilo, the engineer, and Kira, the scientist. Both were as eager as Terran to discover the secrets of Veyron. They began unpacking supplies and checking their equipment. The air was thick and warm, carrying strange scents of flowers and wet earth. Even from the landing site, they could hear the hum of energy flowing through the planet, a sound that made their chests tingle with excitement. As they moved into the forest, Terran noticed something unusual. The plants seemed to lean toward them, as if curious, and the ground beneath their boots glowed faintly with a soft blue light. "Veyron is watching us," Nilo said, half joking, half serious. Terran laughed, but a small shiver ran down his spine. There was a sense of being observed that felt different. After walking for a few hours, they reached a clearing where the trees opened up to reveal a small, shimmering lake. And standing by the edge was Sura, a Veyronian. Her skin had a subtle glow, and her eyes reflected the colors of the lake. She looked at them with a mixture of caution and curiosity. "Humans," she said, her voice melodic. "I did not expect you so soon." Terran stepped forward, raising his hands slightly in greeting. "I am Terran. We come in peace. We are explorers, nothing more." Sura studied him for a moment. "Explorers or invaders?" she asked. Her tone was calm, but her eyes were sharp, as if weighing every word carefully. "We seek knowledge," Terran replied honestly. "We want to learn about your world, your people, your energy. We wish to leave it unharmed." For a long moment, Sura said nothing. Then she nodded slowly. "Very well. But know this, Veyron is alive, and it does not forget. It does not forgive easily." Terran glanced at his crew. They all felt the weight of her words. This was no ordinary planet. Every step they took could be noticed, every action judged. Yet, there was also a strange beauty that made the risks feel worth it. Sura gestured toward the lake. "Come. You may rest here for now. But do not wander alone. Danger moves silently." Terran nodded, grateful for the guidance. As they settled near the water, the crew set up a small camp. Fires were unnecessary, the air itself seemed warm, and the light from the glowing plants was enough. Kira knelt near the edge of the lake, scooping up some water. It shimmered like liquid glass. "This is unlike anything I've studied," she whispered. Nilo, meanwhile, inspected the surrounding forest. "The energy in the ground, it's almost alive," he said. "We have to be careful. One wrong step could trigger something we don't understand." Terran listened and nodded. He knew the stakes were high. Humans had faced challenges before, but this world was different. It tested not only strength but also patience, intelligence, and respect for the unknown. As night fell, the forest lit up with thousands of small lights, like floating stars. The crew watched in silence, awed. Even Sura seemed to relax slightly, her eyes reflecting the soft glow. "Your people, you are bold," she said quietly. "You do not fear the unknown easily. That is rare." Terran smiled. "Curiosity drives us. It is part of who we are. We see wonder where others might see only danger." Sura looked at him thoughtfully. "Perhaps that is why you are here, and perhaps why Veyron allowed you to arrive." A rustle in the trees made everyone tense. Terran's hand went instinctively to his side, but it was only a small creature with shimmering fur, hopping between the glowing plants. It paused, looked at them, then disappeared into the shadows. "This planet is full of surprises," Terran said. And we are just beginning to understand them. Sura watched the humans quietly. There was something about them, bravery, cleverness, and a strange charm that was not like any Varanian she had met. Perhaps, she thought, they could be trusted, or at least, they could survive long enough to prove themselves. The night continued, filled with the hum of energy, the soft glow of the forest, and the quiet promise of adventures yet to come. Terran knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and the first real test of humanity's place on Veyron. And he was ready. The next morning, Terran and his crew followed Sura through the winding paths of Veyron's forest. The air was crisp and filled with a sweet, unfamiliar fragrance. Birds with shimmering feathers flitted between the glowing trees, their songs blending with the soft hum of energy that seemed to pulse from the ground itself. "This way," Sura said, her voice gentle yet firm. "The Festival of Lights is beginning soon. It is a time of celebration, but also a test. Outsiders are rare guests here. You must observe and respect our ways." Terran nodded. "We will. Thank you for guiding us." Soon, they emerged from the forest into a valley that took their breath away. Thousands of lanterns floated in the air, glowing with colors that shifted from gold to blue to pink. The streets were filled with Varanians, their skin reflecting the festival lights like liquid mirrors. Music floated from every corner, a soft, rhythmic melody that seemed to move with the energy of the planet. "This is incredible," Kira whispered, her eyes wide. "I've never seen anything like it." Sura led them to a platform near the central fountain, where dancers performed in flowing robes that sparkled like stars. The Varanians moved with grace and precision, their movements in harmony with the light and music. Terran noticed that some of the humans' gestures seemed clumsy beside the elegant motions of the natives. He smiled, remembering Sura's warning. They were visitors in a delicate world. A group of young Varanians approached, curious about the humans. They asked questions in their soft, melodic language. Terran tried to communicate as best as he could, using gestures and simple words. Nilo handed one of the children a small glowing device from their ship. The device projected tiny patterns of light that danced in the air. The child's eyes widened in wonder. "See," Terran said to Sura. "We can share knowledge without changing anything here." Sura nodded, watching quietly. "Your people are bold, and clever. That may serve you well, or it may draw attention you do not want." Terran glanced around, sensing her warning. Among the crowd, he noticed figures moving with unusual speed and purpose. Their eyes were sharp, and their expressions were hidden beneath subtle masks of color. They were observing the humans closely, and Terran felt a chill run down his spine. "Trouble?" Kira asked softly. "Possibly," Terran replied. "Stay aware." Just as he spoke, one of the masked figures darted forward, attempting to disrupt the floating lanterns near the fountain. The lights wavered and threatened to fall. Terran moved instinctively, leaping forward to steady them. Nilo and Kira quickly joined him, using a small device to stabilize the energy around the lanterns. Sura's eyes widened in surprise. "You acted quickly, and wisely." The masked figure retreated into the crowd, disappearing as silently as it had appeared. The Varanians watching began to murmur among themselves, some with admiration, some with suspicion. Terran felt the weight of their gaze but did not falter. When the immediate danger passed, Sura guided the humans to a quiet corner of the festival. "Not all of your visitors here are friendly," she explained. "There are those who fear change. Humans arriving on Veyron is unusual. Some see it as a threat." Terran listened carefully. "Then we must show them we mean no harm. We cannot just observe, we must respect and earn their trust." Sura nodded slowly. "Yes. And sometimes, respect requires courage as well as patience." The festival continued around them, the lanterns floating higher as the sun dipped below the horizon. Music and laughter filled the air, and for a moment, Terran allowed himself to feel a part of this new world. Kira sketched patterns of the lights in her notebook, while Nilo examined the floating lantern's energy signature. "You're all learning quickly," Sura said, a faint smile on her lips. "Your people's curiosity and courage are unusual here. That may be why Veyron has allowed you to witness the Festival of Lights." As night deepened, Terran noticed the subtle energy patterns shifting around the lanterns. He realized the planet itself seemed to be alive in celebration, responding to the joy and wonder of its inhabitants. It was beautiful, yet fragile. Every movement, every gesture could ripple through the energy in ways they might not understand. "Tomorrow, we explore deeper," Terran said quietly, looking at Sura. "But tonight, we observe. We learn. We respect." Sura's eyes met his, reflecting the festival lights. "Yes, Terran. That is the path to understanding Veyron. And perhaps, the path to survival as well." The humans spent the rest of the evening among the glowing lanterns, their hearts filled with wonder and their minds alert to the challenges ahead. They knew the festival was only the beginning. Secrets awaited in the shadows, and tests of courage, cleverness, and charm would follow. And for the first time, Terran felt a deep connection not just with Sura, but with a world that was alive in ways humans had never imagined. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But tonight, they celebrated, learned, and became part of something larger than themselves. The morning sun rose over Veyron, casting golden light across the glowing forests. Terran and his crew prepared for a new day of exploration, guided by Sura. Today, they would venture beyond the safe paths, into areas known only to the Veyronians. "Stay close," Sura warned. "The deeper forests are alive in ways you cannot predict. It is beautiful, yes, but also dangerous." Terran nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He glanced at Kira and Nilo, who both adjusted their gear. They had trained for many worlds, but Veyron's energy was different. It pulsed, breathed, and seemed to watch them. As they moved into the dense forest, the glowing plants became taller, forming a natural corridor. Tiny creatures with sparkling wings darted around them, and the hum of the planet grew louder. Terran felt as if the air itself was charged with anticipation. "I think it's guiding us," Kira whispered, pointing to faint trails of energy on the ground. "See how the light bends toward that path." Sura nodded. "Yes. Veyron communicates with those who listen. But not all messages are safe." They followed the glowing trail to a hidden grove where ancient ruins stood. The stones were covered in luminescent moss, and symbols carved into them pulsed softly with energy. It was a place of knowledge, Sura explained, but also a place that many outsiders had never seen. "This is incredible," Nilo said, running his hand along the carvings. "It's like the planet itself created these patterns. And they're alive." Terran studied the ruins. "We need to understand this place. It may hold answers about the energy source we came for." Suddenly, movement caught their eyes. Shadows shifted between the stones, and faint whispers seemed to float on the air. A group of masked figures appeared, the same ones Terran had noticed at the Festival of Lights. Their eyes glowed faintly, and they moved with silent purpose. "Stay calm," Sura whispered. "They guard this place. They test all who enter." Terran signaled for the crew to stay still. He stepped forward slowly, showing no signs of aggression. "We mean no harm," he said in a clear voice. "We are explorers, here to learn." The masked figures paused, their eyes studying the humans carefully. After a tense moment, one of them stepped closer. "Humans are bold," the figure said, voice soft but firm. "Few survive the shadows of Veyron without respect." Terran nodded. "We respect your world. We wish only to understand it, not take from it." The figure studied him for a long moment, then gestured toward a narrow passage between the ruins. "Follow, but do not stray. The path is not forgiving." Sura led the crew through the passage. The air grew thick with energy, and the forest seemed to lean inward as if watching them pass. Strange plants with glowing tendrils brushed against their arms, leaving faint sparks of light. The humans moved carefully, aware that every step mattered. At the end of the passage, they reached a hidden clearing. In the center was a pool of crystal-clear water, glowing softly. Around it, the energy of the planet swirled in intricate patterns. Terran felt a pull, a connection he could not explain. "This is the heart of the forest," Sura said quietly. "Here, the energy is strongest. Many secrets are hidden in this place, secrets that can protect or destroy." Kira knelt beside the pool, scanning the water with her instruments. "It's alive," she said. "The energy moves in ways that respond to us. It's almost as if the planet is testing us." Terran gazed at the water, thinking of the energy source they had come to study. If this was a hint of its power, then the stakes were far higher than he had imagined. Humans could survive here, but only by understanding, respecting, and moving carefully. Suddenly, a soft whisper reached his mind, not a voice, but a feeling. He realized it was Veyron itself communicating, showing a glimpse of its memory, flashes of past explorers, successes, failures, and warnings. Terran felt a surge of determination. Humans were bold, clever, and curious. They had faced unknown worlds before, and they could do so again. Sura looked at him, sensing his resolve. "You understand more than most humans would," she said. "Veyron has accepted your presence," cautiously. "But be aware this acceptance is fragile." The humans spent hours exploring the clearing, documenting patterns, and learning to read the subtle messages of the energy around them. Every observation, every careful step brought them closer to understanding the planet. As they prepared to leave, Terran glanced back at the glowing water. "We have only begun to scratch the surface," he said. "But if we respect Veyron, we can learn what no one else has." Sura smiled faintly. "You are different, Terran. Different from the humans who came before. Perhaps this world will allow you to go further." The crew left the clearing, feeling the weight of the shadows behind them, but also the thrill of discovery. They had survived the test, and Veyron had acknowledged their respect. Yet, Terran knew the real challenges were only beginning. Above them, the sun dipped behind the mountains, casting long shadows. The forest whispered around them, alive with secrets. Terran and his crew moved forward, ready to face whatever mysteries awaited in the depths of Veyron. And for the first time, he felt the true power of this world, an energy that tested not just strength but courage, intelligence, and the heart itself. The next morning, a cool mist hung over the forest as Terran and his crew prepared to venture further into Veyron. The previous day's exploration had revealed the forest's hidden energy and the planet's subtle tests, but today felt different. A quiet tension hung in the air, and even the birds seemed to move more cautiously. Sura led them through narrow paths, her steps light and precise. "Veyron is restless today," she said quietly. "The energy flows differently when danger approaches. You must stay alert." Terran nodded, glancing at Kira and Nilo. Both seemed focused but uneasy. "We can handle it," he said. "We've faced unknown worlds before, and we'll handle this one carefully." Hours passed as they moved deeper into the forest. The glowing plants grew taller and denser, casting shifting shadows over the crew. Terran noticed subtle signs of disturbance, broken branches, faint footprints that didn't match any known animal, and small energy spikes in the ground. "They've been here," Sura said softly, her eyes scanning the surroundings. "Someone or something is watching. We are not alone." Before Terran could respond, movement appeared in the shadows. Masked figures emerged silently, just as they had at the Festival of Lights. But this time, their intentions seemed different, sharper, more urgent. "Prepare yourselves," Terran whispered. "We don't know what they want." The figures stopped a few meters away, observing the humans. One stepped forward, holding a small device that pulsed with energy. "You tread where you should not," the figure said. "The energy here is dangerous. Do not interfere." Terran raised his hands calmly. We do not wish to interfere. We are explorers seeking knowledge, not harm. The figure's eyes narrowed, then flicked toward Sara. She trusts you, for now. But the forest watches everything. Suddenly, a ripple of energy surged through the ground. Plants bent, shadows twisted, and the soft hum of the forest became a low, warning growl. Terran and his crew froze. The masked figures stepped back, but the forest itself seemed to respond with caution, warning the humans to respect its power. Sara moved closer to Terran. You must understand, she said. Veyron protects its secrets fiercely. Some energy can heal, some can destroy. One wrong move could awaken something beyond our control. Terran felt the weight of her words. This was no ordinary challenge, it required intelligence, respect, and courage. Then we proceed carefully, he said. We observe, learn, and leave without harm. They followed Sara to a clearing where the forest's energy was strongest. The air shimmered, and patterns of light danced across the trees like living fire. In the center stood a large crystal, pulsing with vibrant energy. Terran realized this was more than a source, it was a living heart of the forest. Kira knelt beside it, her instruments humming softly. The energy, it responds to thought and movement, she said. It's almost like it communicates, but not in words. It senses intention. Terran studied the crystal. Then we must focus. We cannot act on impulse. We have to show respect and understanding. As they approached, the shadows shifted again. The masked figures watched, but this time their faces seemed less hostile. One of them stepped forward. If you can approach without greed, without fear, the forest may allow you insight. But fail, and it will not forgive. Terran nodded. We are ready. Together, they studied the crystal, learning to move in harmony with its energy. Each step, each gesture, was measured. Slowly, patterns emerged, flashes of light that revealed hidden pathways, safe zones, and areas that held danger. Hours passed, and the humans began to understand the forest's subtle language. They discovered that the masked figures were not enemies, they were guardians, testing the humans' patience, respect, and cleverness. By proving themselves, the humans had earned a fragile trust. As the sun began to set, Sara guided them back toward safer paths. You have done well today, she said. But remember, the energy you study is alive. It is unpredictable. The whispers you hear now may become louder, and new dangers will appear. Be prepared. Terran nodded, his eyes reflecting the fading light. We will be ready. We are learning, and we will respect this world, no matter the challenge. The forest whispered around them as they moved back to camp. Shadows stretched long, and the glowing plants seemed to bow slightly in recognition. Terran knew that today they had faced not only danger but also the first true test of their courage and understanding. Tonight, they would rest. Tomorrow, the forest might reveal even greater secrets that could change everything humans knew about Veyron and its mysterious energy. And Terran, for the first time, felt the true weight of their mission. Humans were not just visitors, they were students of a world that demanded respect, intelligence, and heart. The morning air was crisp, and the forest seemed calmer than the previous day, though Terran knew better than to trust appearances. Every leaf, every rustle of wind, carried the subtle hum of energy that made Veyron alive. Today, they would venture toward the heart of the planet's mysterious energy source. Stay close and observe carefully, Sara warned. The deeper you go, the more the forest tests you. Not with force alone, but with puzzles, traps, and decisions that weigh heavily on the mind. Terran nodded. We understand. We will respect the forest, and we will rely on our skills to navigate it. Kira and Nilo checked their equipment as they walked. Instruments hummed softly, detecting subtle energy shifts. The humans had learned much from the previous encounters, but each step forward reminded them that Veyron was unpredictable. Hours passed, and they entered a valley that seemed untouched by time. Trees glowed softly with energy, and vines hung like glowing ribbons. In the center of the valley was a stone platform, inscribed with symbols that pulsed in a rhythmic pattern. "This must be part of the energy source," Kira said, kneeling to examine the platform. "It reacts to us, to movement, thought, even intention." Terran studied the patterns. "Then we need to act carefully. Every step, every gesture counts." As they approached, a low hum began to vibrate through the ground. Shadows shifted, and from them emerged a group of masked figures, the guardians of the forest. Unlike previous encounters, these figures moved with purpose, forming a circle around the humans. "You have reached the heart of the valley," one said. "Here, decisions carry consequences. Humans, show us your edge, not your strength, but your mind, your heart, your ingenuity." Terran stepped forward. "We will show respect and intelligence. We do not seek power for ourselves, only understanding." The guardians watched silently as Terran began to study the patterns on the stone platform. Using his knowledge of human logic and reasoning, he noticed subtle repetitions in the energy pulses. He pointed to a sequence. "If we mirror these patterns carefully, the energy may stabilize instead of reacting dangerously." Kira and Nilo followed his lead, moving in harmony with his gestures. Slowly, the energy around the platform began to shift, responding to their precision and intention. Light swirled upward, forming arcs that connected the symbols. The guardians observed closely, their stance softening with each correct movement. One of the guardians finally stepped forward. "Humans, your thinking is unlike anything we have seen. You are clever, patient, and bold without recklessness. That is rare in outsiders." Terran nodded, feeling a surge of pride for his crew. "We learn quickly. We adapt. That is part of what makes us human." As the energy stabilized, a new pattern appeared on the platform, a glowing map that revealed pathways through the forest and locations of hidden energy clusters. Terran studied it carefully. This could guide us to the true source of the energy," he said. Cyril looked at him with admiration. "Your people have something unique," she said softly. "Courage, cleverness, and charm. It is not only what you do but how you do it. You inspire trust and respect, even from those who fear you." Terran smiled faintly. "It is our nature. We explore, we adapt, and we seek understanding. We do not take lightly what is new and unknown." The guardians nodded and stepped aside, allowing the humans to move forward. "Proceed, but remember the edge you have shown is only the beginning. Respect, intelligence, and heart must guide every step. Fail, and the energy itself may test you harshly." Terran felt the weight of their words. He knew the challenge ahead would be greater than any before. But he also knew humans had an edge that others lacked, the ability to combine reason, creativity, courage, and empathy in ways that could overcome the most intricate challenges. As they moved forward, the forest seemed to shift subtly, opening paths and revealing hidden glades. Small creatures darted along the glowing vines, and the air pulsed in harmony with their steps. The humans felt a deep connection to the planet, not as conquerors, but as students learning a complex, living system. Hours later, they reached a cavern at the base of a glowing mountain. Energy streamed from cracks in the stone, illuminating the walls with shifting colors. This was clearly the heart of Veyron's power, and Terran realized the importance of what lay before them. "This is it," he whispered. "The source of the energy. Everything we've learned, everything we've done, has led us here." Syrah nodded. "And now, your edge will be tested further. The choices you make here will shape not only your future but the future of this world." Terran took a deep breath, feeling the energy hum through him. Humans had an edge that few could match: intelligence, courage, and a respect for life that guided their actions. With that edge, he knew they could face whatever came next. And so, with steady hearts and sharp minds, they stepped forward into the glowing cavern, ready to face the ultimate challenges of Veyron. The glowing cavern pulsed with energy, casting shifting lights on the faces of Terran and his crew. The air vibrated with a subtle hum, and the walls shimmered as if the planet itself was alive. For the humans, every step they took felt heavy with importance. They had reached the heart of Veyron's energy, but the real challenge was not simply reaching it, it was proving themselves worthy of it. Sarah stood beside them, her expression calm yet filled with caution. The energy responds to intention, she said softly. It tests not only strength and cleverness, but also character. Humans, if you can act with wisdom and respect, you may form a bond with Veyron that few outsiders achieve. Terran nodded. We will do our best. We are not here to take. We are here to learn and protect. Nilo carefully examined the glowing veins of energy running through the cavern walls. The patterns are incredible, he said. They respond to focus, not force. We need to move as one with the energy, not against it. Kira placed her hands lightly over a cluster of glowing crystals. It feels alive, she whispered. It's as if it can sense our intentions. If we are honest and careful, it will guide us. Suddenly, shadows appeared at the cavern entrance. Masked figures, the guardians stepped forward, blocking the way. Terran and his crew froze. These figures were not hostile, but their presence reminded the humans that trust had to be earned, not assumed. One of the guardians spoke. You have reached the heart. To be accepted by Veyron, you must show balance. Boldness without respect, cleverness without care, will bring disaster. Proceed carefully. Terran stepped forward. We are ready. We will respect this energy and follow its guidance. The guardians nodded and moved aside, allowing the humans to approach the central pool of pulsing light. As Terran knelt beside it, he felt the hum of energy synchronize with his heartbeat. The light around the pool expanded, revealing images of past visitors, creatures that had failed to respect the energy and disappeared from memory, and rare beings who had been accepted and remembered for generations. Sarah watched him closely. Veyron shows its approval selectively. It responds to what is genuine. You must show it your intentions are pure. Terran closed his eyes for a moment, focusing his thoughts. Humans were clever, brave, and curious, but above all, they were guided by a desire to understand and protect. He projected those feelings into the energy, careful and precise. Slowly, the light pulsing from the pool grew steady and warm, enveloping the humans without harm. The guardians stepped forward, lifting their masks to reveal faces that reflected a mixture of pride and relief. Humans, one said, you have passed the tests of respect, cleverness, and courage. Veyron accepts your presence. Kira and Nilo exhaled, their relief visible. Terran smiled but stayed focused. What now? He asked. Sarah's expression softened. Now, we form an alliance. Your people have proven that humans can act with intelligence, courage, and heart. Together, we can protect this energy, use it wisely, and share knowledge that benefits both our species. The Guardians nodded in agreement. This bond will strengthen the planet and its people. Your knowledge and adaptability, combined with our understanding of the energy, can bring balance where chaos might otherwise arise. Terran extended his hand toward Sarah. Then let us work together. We will honor this trust and protect Veyron with all our ability. Sarah placed her hand lightly over his. It is done. The alliance is forged. A ripple of energy swept through the cavern, flowing into the walls, ceiling, and floor. The crystals glowed brighter, the air vibrated with warmth, and the shadows of the guardians seemed to dance in quiet celebration. The humans felt a deep connection, as if Veyron itself acknowledged their courage and cleverness. As the light subsided, Sarah led them to the edge of the cavern. Outside, the forest seemed different. The glowing plants leaned gently toward them, the energy pulses flowing steadily and calmly. Veyron had accepted them, but Terran knew their responsibility had only begun. Humans have something rare, Sarah said quietly as they walked. You see wonder where others see danger. You act boldly, but with care. That is why Veyron trusts you. Terran glanced at his crew. It is not just us, he said. It is all humans who are curious, clever, and brave. We carry the best of our species with us everywhere we go. Sura smiled faintly. Perhaps that is why you were allowed here. Perhaps Veyron sensed that your presence could bring balance, understanding, and hope. As night fell, the forest around them glowed with gentle light, reflecting the harmony that now existed between humans and the planet. Birds with shimmering feathers sang soft songs, and the energy hummed in rhythm with the wind. The alliance was not only with Sura and the Guardians but with the living planet itself. Terran knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new mysteries, new discoveries, and perhaps new dangers. But for now, the humans had proven themselves worthy. They had formed a bond built on respect, courage, and intelligence. And in that bond, they found not only trust but also the promise of friendship and partnership that could shape the future of Veyron and the place of humans in the stars. The sun rose over Veyron, painting the glowing forests with soft golden light. Terran and his crew prepared their ship for departure, but there was a quiet peace in the air. The alliance with Veyron had been forged, and the planet seemed to hum gently, as if acknowledging their presence. Sura walked beside Terran, her eyes reflecting both pride and a hint of sadness. You have done well, she said softly. You have proven that humans can act with courage, intelligence, and respect. That is rare in any world. Terran smiled. We learned from Veyron as much as we hope Veyron learned from us. This planet is incredible, and we are grateful for the trust you have shown. Kira and Nilo secured their equipment, occasionally glancing at the glowing forest that had become so familiar over the past days. The energy of the planet pulsed steadily, alive and aware, responding to their movements as though offering a final farewell. Before boarding the ship, Sura led them to the central clearing. The Guardians stood silently, their masks removed, their expressions calm and approving. They had watched the humans carefully and had judged their actions, and now they gave their quiet blessing. You have proven your worth, one of the Guardians said. Your people are clever and brave. Veyron will remember this day, and your names will be honored in memory and energy alike. Terran bowed respectfully. Thank you. We will honor Veyron and protect what we have learned. Sura placed a hand on his shoulder. The true journey is not over. You carry with you the lessons of this world, and your choices will shape not only your future but also ours. Remember the bond you have formed here, and let it guide you. The humans stepped onto the ramp of their ship. As the engines hummed to life, the glowing forest below shimmered brightly, almost as if waving them goodbye. Terran looked out over the canopy, feeling a deep connection to this world and the life within it. We came seeking knowledge, he said quietly, and found so much more. We found friendship, trust, and the reminder that courage and respect can open doors that force cannot. Kira leaned beside him, her eyes reflecting the glowing trees. I never imagined a world could be this alive. And yet, it feels like it will always be with us. Nilo adjusted the ship's controls, glancing back at the forest one last time. It's incredible, he said. We leave with data, knowledge, and memories that will guide us wherever we go. As the ship lifted off, the forest stretched out beneath them, rivers and trees glowing softly in the early morning light. Sura watched from the clearing, her figure bathed in the gentle glow. Terran knew this was not the end, it was a beginning. Humans had left a mark, not through conquest, but through understanding, bravery, and care. From above, the patterns of the forest seemed to pulse in harmony with the ship. Energy flowed in subtle currents, almost like applause, acknowledging the bond that had been forged. Terran felt a surge of pride not just for his crew, but for all humans who possessed the curiosity, cleverness, and courage to face the unknown. Do you think we'll ever return? Kira asked softly. Terran smiled. Perhaps. But even if we do not, Veyron has changed us. And we have changed Veyron, in small ways that matter. That is the true legacy of our journey. The ship ascended into space, leaving the glowing planet behind. Stars stretched out before them, infinite and full of possibility. Terran reflected on the journey, the festival of lights, the hidden forests, the guardians, and the energy that tested every part of their mind and heart. Humans had proven themselves not through weapons or power, but through their ability to think, adapt, and respect life. Sara's words echoed in his mind, "Let the bond guide you." Terran looked at his crew. "We leave Veyron, but we carry its lessons. Courage, curiosity, intelligence, and respect, these are our tools in every world we explore." The stars outside seemed to shine a little brighter as the ship jumped into faster travel. Terran knew there would be more planets, more challenges, and more opportunities for humans to prove their worth. And when they returned, or when others followed in their path, the story of Veyron would remain a story of trust, alliance, and the strength of the human spirit. For now, they journeyed onward, leaving behind a world that was alive, aware, and grateful, carrying with them the quiet promise that humans, when guided by courage and respect, could shine even in the most alien of worlds. And so, the humans departed, not as conquerors, but as explorers, allies, and friends, leaving behind a legacy that would ripple through the glowing forests of Veyron for generations to come.